Okay, now we're all marked out, so now what we want to do is actually start chopping out our mortise first. We'll put this on the end of our bench so that it doesn't slip around in the bench vise. So grab yourself a piece of scrap wood, grab yourself a G-clamp, and then just pop that over the top and make sure it's nice and secure. Now we can start chopping it. So what we want to do is grab your mortise chisel and a mallet. We want to start actually chopping out in the middle. We go to the edges later. So the first cut, I like to come round to the side so I can make sure that my chisel is nice and upright this way. So what I do, position that right in the middle and then just gently tap in, you don't need to hit hard. That's plenty enough for your first cut. Then gradually work your way back. About 5mm back, drop in again. Just keep going back like that. Until you have about 5mm left from the end of your line. Then we can reverse the chisel and go back the other way. Okay, so now one more cut. Okay, so now we've got our starting cut left to sell 5mm each end. Now we can actually work our way to the line. So you want to get your chisel, you want to split how much you have left. So about 2mm left on there. Make sure your chisel is nice and upright. Okay, now for the final cut, come round to the side. Position that chisel just back from the line of hair. You want to leave maybe 0.5mm back from the line. Now I want to make sure that my chisel is nice and upright this way. So check that's nice and upright. I'm in between my lines. Then you can chop down. Okay, so that's that side started, and then we can do the same again on this side. Final cut, move to the side, back from that line, 0.5mm, check that I'm nice and upright, in between the lines, chop down. Okay, so basically just keep working all the way down, and then once you're around about halfway down, then you can flip it over and do the same process again. Okay, once you're all the way through, you can unclamp it. Do a little tap, get the last bits out, and then it should look something like this. Get that on the camera. Okay. So you can see inside there's still a little sort of little bits of furry bits of wood in there. So what we can do, you pop your chisel in all the way through. Just be careful you don't stab yourself as it comes through. And then just move the chisel back and forth. Turn the chisel round, same again. Tap, and then you can see now we're nice and clean. Okay, so now we're going to work on the tenon. So now you can use your vise, pop your material in. We'll have this on a slight angle. You can see that on the camera. We want to start by focusing on these top two lines. We're going to cut all the way down to our line. So we want the saw to be as flat as possible, and we're going to cut down to this point here and then to our line back here. So just pop your thumb on the side of the saw, and I'm just focusing on cutting these two lines here, nothing else. So obviously on the outside of the line, just start very slowly. Okay, and then slowly work your way down, keeping the saw as flat as possible. Okay, so once we've got there, then we want to flip it up and actually cut down straight. So put the timber in the vise upright, and now we're just going to finish off down to this line and of course back here. Now just keep the saw running in the groove that you've already cut, making sure you don't go too far past your line. So have a little check. Okay, a little bit further. I'm at this line now. I'm just going to have a little check. Okay. Okay, lovely. That's there. Okay, and then we want to repeat that again on the other side. Okay, that's then our tenon ripped. Now we just need to cut our shoulder lines. So if possible, get your piece of timber in the bench as upright as you can, as level as you can, and that will help you a lot to keep that cut nice and straight. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the far side here. Very small cut on the back stroke. Make sure that we're on that line nicely. Then we can start to work our way across. Also, what we can do to help you out to get that saw started, we can take a marking knife, pop that on our line, and then you can score a line all the way across. Just gently push in for the first strike, and again. So that gives you a nice starting line. You can also do that on the edge as well. Pop your knife on, and you can actually take an inch chisel and just come in on a slight angle, and you can actually take that up to that line. That then gives you a nice starting point for your saw cut. Okay, so then we can pop the saw in, very gently work your way across, making sure you're lining up with your shoulder line on the other side. Just slow your saw cuts down as you're getting to the end of the cut. And there we go. Then we can then finish that off with a chisel just to clean up any debris there. Okay, so now we're just going to give it a try to fit. Make sure that your face edge mark is on the inside. Faces are both on the outside here. I'll just try that in. Okay, so I'm just a little bit tight still, so I'll take that out. What we can do is actually turn it over on the side. Make sure it's nice and flush on both sides, and you can see I've just got a little bit of material to take out of this middle here just to clean it up. So we'll do that now. Pop that in the vise. Slowly work your chisel across, a little bit at a time. Don't try and take too much off at once. Okay, clean all that up. Okay, now we'll give that a try again. So you push it in, up to the shoulders. There we go. So that's our Mortice and Tenon put together. Shoulders nice and tight, no gaps. See that on the camera, and then your tenon coming through, and then what we can do is you can then plane that off to make that nice and smooth. But that's basically what we need to do.